Do I really write with my fountain pens? Hi, everybody. Pastor Bob here. I'm in my office where I do so much of my study, work, and so forth at the church. And I receive a question often about my fountain pen collection, asking me if I really use them on a regular basis. So I'm going to do that. Question is kind of a fun question today instead of a Bible question. So answer is yes, I do enjoy collecting fountain pens, some vintage, some antique, some modern, and I do write with them. In fact, not only do I write with them regularly, I write with them exclusively. So I thought it'd be fun today just to talk to you about that a little bit. So let me start with the pen that is here on my desk. This pen dates to the mid-1950s. It is the desk version of the Wall Eversharp Skyline, and I'll show you a couple of non-desk versions of those in a minute. But anyway, it is a fountain pen. It is a lever filler, which means that I use this little lever right here, that when I would dip the end of the pen into any one of these bottles of liquid fountain pen ink, I submerge the nib. That's the in this case, a solid gold 14 karat gold nib, the metal part of the pen that does the writing. I would submerge that into the ink, pull the lever, release the lever, and it would draw ink up into a rubber diaphragm there inside. Some of you old timers will remember when the fountain pen was not a novelty. It was what people wrote with every day until the invention and widespread use of the ballpoint pen in the mid-1960s. Anyway, so that's a pen that I use every day when I'm here at my desk. It's just easy to grab and to use. Now, I've got here a couple of more Wall Eversharp Skylines. This one's in a beautiful forest green. I've got one next to it here that's in a dove gray. These also date to the mid-1940s. So these pens are, 70-something years old. You do the math on that. These are also lever fillers. They fill the same way I just showed you. You put the nib in the ink and pull the lever to draw up the ink. I like these Wall Eversharps. They were designed by Henry Dreyfuss, who was a famous industrial designer in the 1940s, considered to have, for that time, a very modern, streamlined design. I've got a couple of old Schaefer lever fillers here. Just nothing special about them. They also, this one dates to the late 1930s. This one to the mid-1940s. It's a pretty pen. I don't even know if the camera can pick that up, but that beautiful striated red color. A couple of modern pens. This one is a Twsby Classic. It's a great pen. I love this pen. It's a modern pen. I picked this up a few years ago. Stainless steel nib, not as flexible. I guess the purists would probably prefer the writing experience and the flexibility of a gold nib. This one is stainless steel. By the way, fountain pens were not manufactured with gold nibs back in the day to be fancy. They were manufactured with solid gold nibs for two reasons. Only gold had the non-corrosive properties that were necessary to keep the nib from rusting. Also, the gold provided a certain element of flexibility. Now, in this modern era, pens can be manufactured with stainless steel and frankly work just as well. Couple of Conklins. I like these old Conklins. These are piston fillers, meaning you submerge the nib in the ink, but you turn the knob on the end. It causes a piston inside to draw up the ink. These are modern pens, these Conklins. I think they're cool. They are reproductions, I should say, of Conklin fountain pens from the 1930s. I kind of like them, and they're a little larger. This particular Conklin was a gift to me from John MacArthur. Me and about 3,000 other pastors that attended the Shepherds Conference some years ago. The Shepherds Conference gift that year was a Conklin fountain pen with the Shepherds Conference insignia. They're laser etched into the sides. That's kind of a neat pen. This is a Mont Blanc Meisterstück 149. Some of you will recognize. I don't even want to talk about it. It's embarrassingly and stupidly expensive. So we'll just ignore that one. I bought it used though. Here's another Twsby. It's a Diamond 580. It's clear. I don't know if if the camera can pick that up, but it's completely clear. You can see the blue ink inside. It's another lever filler, a piston filler. You turn that knob on the end and a piston draws the ink as you would put that in a bottle of ink. Back in the olden days when people used and wrote with fountain pens, and frankly, you would own and use a fountain pen for a lifetime. You'd go into the store, you'd shop for a pen. The pen owned, the man who was there at the counter selling the pens would often have a demonstrator, a pen that was completely clear. The purpose of that was so that he could demonstrate to the customer how the mechanism of the pen worked internally, how the piston would move, for example, and draw up the ink. So now any pen, even a modern pen like this one that's in clear plastic, is called a demonstrator. Love this pen. That's a Pelikan M800. That's in a limited edition. It's a modern pen. It's one of my very favorites. Beautiful two-tone gold nib. Got an old Parker 51, most famous fountain pen ever manufactured. In fact, I carry a Parker 51. I write with that every day. Camera probably can't see that, but the solid 14 karat gold nib is completely covered and enclosed by this plastic. It keeps the nib from drying out as quickly if you set it down. That pen dates to 1945. That's an old pen. Still writes like the day it was made. Couple of more modern pens, a Lamy Safari, all black. This is not an antique pen, it is vintage. It's a Waterman fountain pen, gold nib, dates back to the 1990s. This is a cool pen. Old Esterbrook, called a school pen, because this is what school children would be issued in the 1950s. Very basic, just a stainless steel nib, but that's what school kids would write. Here's a 1930s Parker Vacuumatic. That's an old pen. You'd take off the blind cap, pump that lever, that button on the end again to draw up the ink. Beautiful pen. I know the camera probably just can't pick up the colors and the striations. I'll do one more. Pilot Vanishing Point. Kind of cool. It's a fountain pen, but you carry it like a ballpoint. And then when you click the lever, I don't know if you can see that, but the little the white gold nib comes out the end. You can write as you would with any other fountain pen. Click the button, the nib retracts and seals inside the pen, so you can carry it that way. Kind of a unique pen called a Vanishing Point fountain pen. Anyway, it's a fun hobby. I enjoy collecting fountain pens, and yes, I write with them not only regularly but exclusively. I just enjoy fountain pens so much. And Hope that was fun for you. Some of you fountain pen nuts, shoot me an email. We can compare notes. But anyway, thanks for a couple of minutes today. God bless you. Hope you have a great day.